In the early hours of August 10th, 2019, inside one of America's most secure prisons, a man at the center of one of the most disturbing scandals in modern history was found dead. Jeffrey Epstein, billionaire financier, socialite, and accused sex trafficker, had spent decades surrounding himself with wealth, influence, and some of the most powerful people in the world. But before the public could learn everything he knew, Epstein was gone. Official reports would later conclude that he died by suicide inside a jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. Yet almost immediately, questions began to emerge. Questions about security failures, questions about missing surveillance footage, questions about exhausted guards who reportedly fell asleep, questions about why procedures designed to protect high-profile inmates were suddenly ignored. And above all, one question that continues to echo years later: who really killed Jeffrey Epstein? To understand why so many people still doubt the official explanation, we need to go back to the beginning. Born in Brooklyn, New York, Jeffrey Epstein began far from the world of billionaires and private islands. He briefly worked as a school teacher before somehow entering the world of high finance. Despite having no college degree and no formal qualifications in finance, Epstein quickly rose into elite circles. No one fully understood how he became so wealthy, but his connections grew rapidly. Politicians, business executives, celebrities, academics, royal figures. Over time, Epstein transformed himself into a man who appeared untouchable. He owned luxurious mansions in Manhattan, Palm Beach, Paris, and New Mexico, and eventually a private Caribbean island known as Little St. James. To outsiders, the island appeared like a tropical paradise. But behind the luxury, investigators would later uncover allegations of exploitation, manipulation, and abuse. Young girls, many of them vulnerable teenagers, were allegedly recruited under false promises of money, opportunity, or support. According to public allegations and court records, these girls were brought into a hidden system that operated for years behind closed doors. Victims later described environments controlled by power, secrecy, and intimidation. Over time, whispers about Epstein's activities slowly grew louder. In 2005, a police investigation in Palm Beach, Florida began after allegations involving underage girls surfaced publicly. As more victims came forward, investigators reportedly uncovered disturbing patterns. But despite mounting evidence, the case took an unexpected turn. In 2008, Epstein secured a controversial plea agreement that allowed him to avoid more serious federal charges. The agreement shocked many legal experts. Instead of facing the possibility of decades in prison, Epstein served only 13 months in a county facility under unusually lenient conditions. He was reportedly allowed extended work release privileges during his sentence. Many questioned how such an arrangement had been possible. Critics argued that Epstein's wealth and influence had protected him, and for a while, public attention faded. But the story never truly disappeared. Then came 2019. Federal investigators reopened the case. This time, the allegations were far more serious. Authorities accused Epstein of operating a large trafficking network involving minors across multiple locations over many years. His arrest sent shockwaves across the world. Media attention exploded. Public curiosity intensified. And suddenly, people began asking what Epstein knew and who else might be connected to him. Searches of his properties reportedly uncovered evidence that deepened the investigation. Flight logs, photographs, documents, contacts. The case was no longer about one man alone. It had become a global story involving power, privilege, and secrecy. Epstein was arrested and taken into federal custody in New York. Initially, he was placed on suicide watch after an earlier incident inside the jail. But only weeks later, those precautions were removed. Then came the night of August 9th, 2019. According to official reports, Epstein was housed in a special unit inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center. Standard procedures required regular inmate checks. Surveillance systems were expected to remain operational. Guards were expected to monitor activity carefully. But reports later suggested that several of those procedures failed simultaneously. 2 guards assigned to the area reportedly fell asleep. Some records were allegedly falsified, and surveillance cameras covering parts of the area reportedly malfunctioned. For several crucial minutes, there was no active monitoring. Then, in the early morning hours, Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive inside his cell. The official ruling later declared his death a suicide by hanging, but the circumstances immediately triggered widespread skepticism. How could so many failures occur at once inside one of America's most secure federal facilities? Why were critical cameras reportedly not functioning? Why had suicide watch precautions been removed? Why were guards allegedly asleep? And why did so many details appear incomplete or inconsistent? Almost overnight, speculation spread globally. Some believed the failures were simply the result of negligence, understaffing, and institutional dysfunction. Others believed something far more deliberate had taken place. Public debate intensified. Television panels discussed the mystery endlessly. Social media exploded with theories. Analysts reconstructed timelines minute by minute. Journalists examined inconsistencies in reports and procedures. Meanwhile, investigators continued reviewing the circumstances surrounding Epstein's death. The guards on duty later faced scrutiny regarding their actions that night. Reports suggested records may have been incomplete or falsified. Each revelation only deepened public uncertainty. And over time, the case evolved into something much larger than a single prison death. For many people, the Epstein case became symbolic of broader concerns surrounding wealth, power, accountability, and institutional transparency. Questions continued to grow about how systems designed to protect justice could fail so dramatically. Experts debated whether the failures were coincidence, incompetence, or evidence of something more complex. Some pointed towards staffing shortages and aging prison infrastructure. Others argued those explanations did not fully answer the questions surrounding the incident. To this day, opinions remain divided. The official conclusion remains part of the public record. But for millions of people around the world, uncertainty remains. And perhaps that uncertainty is what continues to keep this story alive. Because Jeffrey Epstein died before a public trial could fully unfold. Before testimony could be heard, before every connection could be explored openly in court, before every question could receive an answer. The truth, whatever it may ultimately be, remains clouded by missing details, speculation, and unanswered questions. And so the debate continues, a debate about justice, about transparency, about institutional failure, and about the uncomfortable reality that sometimes, even in the modern world, some mysteries never fully disappear. Maybe the complete truth will never be known. Maybe the events of that night inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center will remain disputed forever. But years later, one question still echoes across headlines, documentaries, discussions, and public imagination. Who really killed Jeffrey Epstein?